Hey, that's fun.
Hello, yeah, my name is Sonia. I'm reading poetry, so if you have not yet visited the bar, now might be a good time to do that since poetry sucks. But yeah, this first one's called Oops, I Turned My Son Into a Vampire. Oops, I turned my son into a vampire. Nothing that I never would expect. I took my toddler to a tomb and I left him in the room. Next I know he's got 2 teeth marks in his neck. Oops, I turned my son into a vampire. His bloodlust is insatiable, it's true. If he's looking for his food and you got him in a mood, he'll suck the blood right out your veins until you're blue. Oops, I turned my son into a vampire. It happened on a Sunday, matter of fact, that the sun was going down, so I took him into town and he bit up 30 people for a snack. Oops, I turned my son into a vampire. I put him down for bedtime at the dawn. When he wakes up, he is crying because he's constantly undying. I go out and find a victim for my spawn. Oops, I turned my son into a vampire. It's easy to assume I was to blame. You can throw your sticks and stones, toss your judgment at my bones, but my son will live forever all the same. Thank you. This one's a little more spoken word, and I apologize, it's about vampires again. To be a vampire in San Francisco. You want to know about vampires? Well, I'm a vampire, and let me tell you, being a vampire in San Francisco, it's like no other city in the world. You can't really park anywhere, so you have to be really creative in how you know. Like the other day, I was on the 49 bus headed toward the Mission, and the bus was so crowded, I wound up just getting off at Market and grabbing a victim on BART. And it's kind of hard to meet people here, right? Everyone's on their phones. I once saw a woman with her eyes locked on her phone. She was all like, she almost fell down the stairs. She caught herself though, so I just pushed her down. Telegraph Hill! I was just reminded of that. So much has changed in the city these last 20 years. Telegraph Hill is so beautiful, especially at night, but they have cameras there now. And people here are super healthy, like healthy to a fault. I am no exception. Like I love North Beach. A lot of victims there. But I go to the Mission when I'm looking for a sweet, spicy, slightly ethnic, hipster, something that's not too heavy, you know? And techies are the worst. Am I right, ladies? I was here before techies, way before techies. I was here before, oh, well, that's not important. But tech companies have pushed rents so high that it feels like there's no going back. Even after the pandemic, it's still impossible to live here. I myself almost moved back home. I've got hundreds, thousands of family members in my hometown. But now, even LA is too expensive. That was an LA joke. Dating in San Francisco is a nightmare, especially if you're dating me. And I'm not really looking for love, but the apps are really great for meeting victims. The problem is all the tastiest guys are into the same fucking shit. Hiking, surfing, kite surfing, rock climbing. Like, doesn't anybody enjoy wandering down a dark alleyway and getting lured by a silent seductress into a smoky, velvet-covered dungeon anymore? Yeah. San Francisco is also strange in the sense that there's not really a bar scene here, like not like New York or Amsterdam, I guess. Like, there's bars, but they're only open until 2 a.m., so I have to go to 7-Eleven way over on Geary and 15th Avenue if I want to meet someone for dinner. It's a bit sketch, but still satisfying. Something that San Francisco has that no other city can match is Golden Gate Park. It's the biggest, most beautiful park. I love the way the plaza outside the DeYoung and the Academy of Sciences is lit up at night. And there's so many wannabe hippies wandering around, high on shrooms and acid. They're completely unprepared when you run up and bite them. If you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear some garlic in your hair. I hope I never have to leave San Francisco. As long as there are idiots walking around alone at night, I'll be able to make a living. But there may be a time when even that is a rare occurrence. If I have to leave, I promise I won't be that person who moves to, like, Austin and posts on social media, oh, I love it here, it's so much better than SF. Like when Elon Musk moved Twitter out of the city. Was that last year? Hey, is Elon Musk a vampire? That's it.
Yeah.
And this is my last one. I apologize. It's by far the longest one, but, just boo me off the stage if we run out of time. It's called Uncle Stu. One afternoon on Monday came a letter in the mail. It read, "My dearest niece, this is your dear old Auntie Gail. You were aware my husband, Uncle Stu, was old and frail, and that his health was poor and that his countenance was pale. Well, Uncle Stu was suddenly run over by a bus. The impact twisted up his spine and pulverized his guts. He had it noted in his will to whom his wealth he'd give, a gift to his beloved niece should he no longer live. I know you've never met your uncle, or quite frankly me. Your parents likely never spoke our names in front of thee. Yes, I just said thee like 16th century poetry, but only 'cause thee was the only word that rhymed, you see. But anyway, this letter's long, a funeral to arrange. Your uncle's method of bequeathing wealth to you is strange. He said a messenger will come and offer you a gift. Be sure this man is honest and be wary of a grift." Sorry. Upon reading Aunt Gailey's words, I took the news in stride, opened a safe deposit box and tucked her note inside. I readied all my bank accounts and made sure there was room. I popped a cork of sparkling wine to wash away my gloom. The next day, knocking at my door, a man stood tall outside. I cleared my throat, I grabbed the knob and swung it open wide. The man said, "Hi, I'm Uncle Stu. I know you think I've died, but as you see, I'm standing here and actually alive." I said, "You're not my Uncle Stu." He grinned his widest grin. He said, "I need to stay here till they certify my twin. My twin was Uncle Earl, and my wife Gail thought he was I. He passed away when Gailey mixed his Listerine with lye." Now, why my brother Earl drank Listerine, I do not know. He was a drunk, much like myself, and sunken very low. My wife knew that my taste for booze was flagrant and quite free. She could have very well prepared a Listerine iced tea. "That is preposterous," I said. Would you like a drink?" Alleged Uncle Stu and I then turned our faces pink. We started on a third canteen when we both heard a knock. I answered, heard the visitor, and greeted him with shock. "So you are Uncle Stu?" I said. "I really can't believe." "Yes," said the man in neon pants, "I see you are in grief. I am your Uncle Stu, and you can trust there is no other. The man you warmly welcomed here this morning is my brother." "So he is Uncle Earl?" I asked of tall man at my table. The man in neon pants walked in and started on his fable. "The story that your Auntie Gail transmitted is a lie. Yes, it was revealed that she had poisoned Earl with lye. No, Uncle Earl had passed away some 20 years ago. An avalanche had crashed and smothered brother under snow. The man you welcomed here is Gailey's brother, Uncle Ron, a man who lives, breathes, eats, drinks, sleeps, and couples with the con. Your Uncle Ron has come here to appeal to your good heart. He hopes that toward him your family wealth you will impart." "But I don't have," I said before the neon pants replied. "Yes, you won't have the money until Uncle Stu has died, and I don't plan on dying for another night or two." So I said, "Well then come and have a drink, my Uncle Stu." The Uncle Stews and I enjoyed some flights of whiskey's ode. Their stories contradicted, though their confidence were bold. I thought about retiring for the night, and then I heard someone outside my front door who was whistling like a bird. I opened and I saw a man who looked like he was lost. He said, "Is this where undead uncles gather to get sauced?" I said, "Now hold your horses, let me hear your story first." The lost man furrowed up his brow, spit on the ground, and cursed. "I am your Uncle Stu," he said, which I had heard before. "I am the only Uncle Stu who stood here at your door. The Uncle Stu who came first to your door is Uncle Ron, who'll linger here and drink your liquor dry from dusk till dawn." "So then that means that Neon Pants Man must be Uncle Earl." "No, he isn't. Let me talk, you fucking stupid girl. Your Uncle Earl was resting and had drifted off to sleep when suddenly within his home converged a dozen sheep. The sheep drew wolves, and with the wolves came farmers, rifles drawn. The dozen farmers sprayed the room, and Uncle Earl was gone. The passing of your Uncle Earl was tragic and quite queer, but it's a well-known story, and that's not why I am here. I'm here because the neon pantsman sitting at your table is known colloquially and formally as Uncle Abel. No, that's not right, because table was used earlier in the poem. Shut up and let me rhyme the way I want, you fucking scum. Now, Uncle Abe thinks Uncle Ron and Uncle Earl are twins, and Uncle Ron thinks Uncle Abe is uglier than him. And Auntie Gail thought Uncle Earl was actually Uncle Ron, and that's the fatal flaw your auntie based her letter on. You see, your Auntie Gail and I were students at FAMU. I said, hold on, I need another whiskey, Uncle Stu. I brought the newest Uncle Stu to join us at the bar. The three old Uncle Stews told me great stories of afar. We'd laughed and sung and drank ourselves right to the point of stumble, when right outside my home I heard a loud, obnoxious rumble. I peeked outside my window and I saw a woman there. I opened up the door. At first the woman only stared. She said, I am your Uncle Stu's assistant, Ava Dunn, and since your uncle passed, I see you've been having fun. Your uncle gave to me the task of handing you his dough. He told me he would exclude with one condition, though. He told me that were his beloved niece to drink and dine, with con men posing as her uncles and in numbered shrine. Oh, let me just read the thing. Should my niece welcome exactly 3 men into her home, all of whom claim to be one or more of her uncles, and offer them any amount of alcohol, and subsequently recall this experience by writing a series of whimsical verses, she shall not inherit anything from me, never, ever. Signed, Uncle Stu. I stared at Ava Dunn in shock, and she went further still. Uncle Stu then asked that his beloved niece be killed. I said, wait, I don't think that's right, and she pulled out a gun. She said, these millions cash are to be mine, signed Ava Dunn. I saw her put her finger on the trigger. In a flash, I woke up in a pool of drool in my history class. Those teachers said, Miss Stevens, is this subject boring you? I was intact, I was alive, I was a girl named Stu. Thank you.
That was some good shit. Yeah. I've been on a journey just now.